We're here to talk the Kentucky Oaks today, and naturally, that means we're going to throw up the O. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to talk about the Phillies. We haven't really discussed them this whole prep season, but the Kentucky Oaks is actually shaping up to be a very good race. Kind of top heavy, in my opinion, but field looks good so far. Here it is. This is what we have for pre-entries at the moment. These are the horses that are listed currently on the thoroughgraphs for the Oaks. So there might be a couple late additions. The horses that are in yellow, I do not believe are actually going based off everything I've seen. It is only a 14 horse field, so I believe those would technically be your bubble horses. But yeah, we'll just go over this field pretty quickly here. I have them ranked in tiers, a couple horses for each tier. Obviously, at the top, I have Kathleen O, who's been fantastic this year, and the 2-year-old champion, uh, and undefeated Echo Zulu, who came back. She only run once this year, so we'll see how she improves. But yeah, we'll just start at the bottom here. We're going to start with Turner Loose. And Turner Loose looked very good winning the grade 2 Rachel Alexandra on her 3-year-old debut, but then came back in the Fairground Oaks, and it was just not a competition for Echo Zulu and Hidden Connection. She was a very well beaten there. I just think she's a cut below some of these other ones, and I way her running style is, I think she would really need things to go her right way to upset this field. Next, I have Desert Dawn, and Desert Dawn was the upset winner of the Santa Anita Oaks over Adari Manor. I don't know where that effort came from. Still don't know where that effort came from. I, I guess maybe she could pull off the similar thing. I just think there's better closers in here. I don't think she's really gonna replicate that. So for that reason, I have her pretty low here. She's one though at a huge price. I can definitely see trying to use underneath, even though I don't think the Oaks, in my opinion, unlike the Derby, the best fillies usually finish well because it's not as big of a field. So yeah, I think it is hard to get some of these bombs underneath in the Oaks personally. But if you're looking for somebody to come from the back, she could be your horse. The next I have Candy Raid, and I'm going to be honest with you, I have not seen too much of Candy Raid this year. She was very badly beaten in the Rachel Alexandra, and she came back to win the Bourbonette Oaks, and I watched that. I don't see how you can play this horse realistically with some of these others in here. If you like her, okay. The distance should not be a problem. I've very outclassed in my opinion. Next, I think this might surprise some people because I know she's got a big fan base. I have Venti Valentine pretty low on my Oaks board currently. She had every chance in the world to show how good she was in the Gazelle last time out, and she just didn't. She didn't fire. I think she just might be another one that's just a slight cut below some of these. Her two losses have been to Nostalgic and Nest, who are both higher up on my list, and those are her only two losses. So it's not like she's keeping bad company. I just don't know if she's actually good enough to win. She is a perfect example, in my opinion, of somebody who I would not be surprised if they run second or third here. But again, I think I would need a price on her really to use her, and I don't know necessarily how big of a price we're gonna get. We'll probably get double-digit odds on her, which is good if you're considering using her, but I think she's kind of already proven that she's not as good as some of the top fillies here, so she's a toss for me, but I can make an argument for her. Next, I have Cocktail Moments, and Cocktail Moments was a distant second in the Ashland to Nest. She was also third in the Devona Dale to Kathleen O. She's kind of keeping good company. She hasn't run bad. She's another one kind of like Venti Valentine. I just don't think she's going to be good enough to win here. At the right price, I'd use her underneath, but I think she would definitely need to really improve here to beat these horses. And everything I've seen on her kind of indicates that she would need to take a huge step forward to win. So for that reason, she's pretty low on my list. Next on my list, I have Nostalgic, who ran a great race in the Gazelle to beat Venti Valentine. I just don't think this form is going to translate. I kind of taking these New York horses very lightly going into the Oaks. I think she has a shot to be a very nice filly down the line. I just don't think we're there yet. She is a Godolphin horse, so I am a huge fan of Godolphin horses. I just don't think we're there yet with her. So I'm be more willing to play her back in like in the Mother Goose or something like that down the line rather than this spot. So she's going to be a toss for me here, but I can definitely see her ending up being a very good horse. Next, we have Hidden Connection. And Hidden Connection almost ran down Echo Zulu in the Fairground Oaks. And in my opinion, that's kind of been the story of Hidden Connections career. She's just close, but no cigar. I'm not a huge fan of this one, but the fact that she almost ran down Echo Zulu does have me thinking that she did get a little bit better. She's one I think she's going to kind of be like the quote unquote wise guy horse in this field because she almost did beat Echo Zulu, and you're probably going to get 10 times the price on her. I don't see her being single digit odds, whereas I see Echo Zulu probably being around 2 to 1. So I get from that standpoint, I just don't think she's good enough to win. I can see her running a big race and finishing underneath again. That's just me. She's a toss for me though. I can't personally use her. There's some other horses I like too much in this spot. Next I have Goddess of Fire. And Goddess of Fire has been second her last 3 efforts. All 3 efforts as a 3-year-old. Her last second was to Kathleen O, which in my opinion wasn't a bad second. She seems to be improving. I don't know how good she really is, but I trust Pletcher. I trust Pletcher in my with a 3-year-old filly more than I trust Calhoun, which is why I have her ranked higher than Hidden Connection. She kind of falls into the same boat though. She just might just be the story of her career. She's just an underneath horse, and maybe one day she'll catch a soft field in a graded stakes and win again. She's not for me. I'm not personally. I'm not using anybody outside my top 5 here. So she was kind of my last horse off. I have her ranked as a tier. Those two in Nostalgic are my tier 3 horses I have here. I probably can't play them. If I really wanted to get creative and play a deep ticket, I might include them on the bottom of tries and exactos, but I don't think you have to here. I think this is I honestly only think there's one horse outside the top 4 that has a shot of winning, and we'll get to her shortly. At number 5, I have Secret Oath, who I've been very critical on this year. She's coming out of that very bad Arkansas Derby, but she was arguably the best horse in there. I know she didn't win, and I know she technically got nosed out late for for second. She finished third. She was the best horse in there, and I was definitely wrong on her going into that race. I did not think, even though I was right that she wouldn't win, I think I was completely wrong that she was not the best horse in there. She looked like if with a better trip, she wins that race easily, and nobody's even talking about Cyberknife in the or Barber Road in the Derby. But here we are. I think she fits very well. My only concern is I am just not impressed with that with the Arkansas Derby, and that's kind of why I have her kind of low. Just overall as a race, I know the trip was bad. She made that monster middle move, and she still nearly got there. I think she's good enough to win here. She's definitely going to be on some of my tickets on Oaks Day, probably in my pick 4s and pick 5s, definitely. I don't know what kind of price we're going to get on her though. She still has a very large fan base, so I'm expecting her to be single digit odds. And at single digit odds, I can't play her to win, but I'm going to use her on pick 4s and pick 5s that I go deeper on, just because I do think she is a very good horse, and she did prove me wrong in the Arkansas Derby. Next is my kind of my long shot pick here. I don't know what kind of price we're gonna get on Shahama, I believe is how you say it. For now, Todd Pletcher, UAE Oaks winner. She won the UAE Thousands Guinness too. Sh Foreign invader, but she was bred in Kentucky. She looks good though, and I'm hoping we get a price on her. Especially since Pletcher does have Goddess of Fire and Nest also in here. I'm hoping we get a price on her. If she's double digit odds, I will. She's on all of my tickets. She looks great. Her running style is perfect for this, and she's classy. My one concern is the pedigree, but she seems to want to just keep running all day. So she's already won at a mile and 3/16. She won at a mile. I don't I don't really think there's a big issue because she has won at those distances, but the Munnings pedigree always scares me for these 2-turn races. But she looks very good. If you haven't watched her replays yet, I highly recommend doing so. She looks good, and at a price, I think she is the horse that could kind of blow this thing up. As between the rest of my top 5 here, I'm expecting all of them to be shorter prices. So, if you haven't watched her yet, go watch her. She looks very good in my opinion. At 3, I have Nest, who just absolutely dominated that Ashland, and that was the effort from Nest I think a lot of people were waiting to see. I know I was waiting to see it. She I you knew on the turn she was the winner. She was ridden every step of the way like the winner. Uh, Her only loss was the 3rd at Belmont, and besides that, she's done nothing wrong. And she just continues to get better. She's sired by Curlin, and Curlin that's how Curlin sired horses are, is they just keep getting better. I like her a lot here. My one concern is I don't know how much pace there really is here. A lot of these horses want to sit off the pace and kind of leaves Echo Zulu alone. So if she doesn't get a pace, that's going to be tough. I also don't know if she really has the best closing kick. So even if she does take the lead in the stretch, she might get caught. But I do think, kind of like Secret Oath, those two should have the first run at Echo Zulu, in my opinion. So I'm gonna use Nest on some tickets. I'm waiting for her later down the line though. I kind of think she's more like, I would not be surprised if she is the winner of the Alabama later this summer if she stays healthy with her pedigree and how she wants to run. So she's my I have her third. She's the last horse in my tier 2. I almost threw 3 horses in tier 1, but I kind of hate doing that. I know I did that for the Derby, but she's my last horse in tier 2. She's gonna be used on some of my tickets because I think of between her, Kathleen Owen, Echo Zulu, and Secret Oath, I think she'll probably be the higher of the prices of those 4. So for that reason, value wise, I'm gonna use her. Number 2, I have Echo Zulu, and she has done nothing wrong. She's 5 for 5. She's doing the one start to Oaks route, and that's not my favorite route, but I loved Malathat last year, and that's what Malathat did. She one start to Oaks, and she just has done nothing wrong. I don't I know everybody's gonna say the distance is the issue, and they might be right. She's kind of seemed like she was getting tired at the end of the mile and a 16th in the Fairground Oaks. She dominated the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly at a mile and a 16th. It's hard for me to judge that because it was her first start off the bench. Obviously, this was the goal. There was no, it's not like she randomly won a big race and they're like, oh, we'll send her to the Oaks. The Oaks has been the goal all along. So I doubt she was fully cranked. She's sired by Gunrunner. I really I don't have distance issues with Gunrunner horses yet. So I think I think she'll be fully cranked here. And she's undefeated. The horse knows how to win. I can't I can't stress that enough with racing. When horses just like winning, it's very hard to just to disregard them, even if you think they might get tired. She's gritty. She showed that last time. She dug in and she held off hidden connection. I think she's a must use unless you're singling a horse here. If you're using more than one horse in this race, I think you have to use Echo Zulu. I don't think she's given you a reason not to use her. Even the one start off the layoff, she should just improve off of that effort. So she's my number two. She looks very good, and I'm excited to see what she does because I do think she's a horse that even if she doesn't win here, the Black Eyed Susan is only at a mile, I believe, at Pimlico, and that kind of seems like a perfect spot for her. So would not be surprised if we see her go Oaks to Black Eyed Susan, and if she runs well here, I would probably use her on top in that race because if she loses here, it's because of the distance. But she also looks like lone speed, so I would use her. And end of the day, I would definitely use her. And my top pick here, Kathleen O. And she's perfect. She has done nothing wrong. She just keeps winning. And she is like Echo Zulu. She just keeps winning and she just keeps doing it impressively. That Gulfstream Park Oaks, she was the best 3-year-old that ran that day, period, anywhere. And I know she's got a huge fan base now. A lot of people have been on her for a while. I've been on her for a while. She is just she just keeps improving. So she's my top pick. I would love to see Shug get an Oaks here. I love her pedigree. I love her running style. And she's been able to close. She's been able to come from off the pace and slow paces. She can do. She seems like a horse that just makes her own trip. So she's my top pick. I don't see how you don't use her on tickets, but I'm probably going to use single her on a lot of tickets. But I'm probably going to use her. I'm probably going to key her and Shahama on a bunch of tickets with the other ones and exactas and just try to catch the right hope one of those two win and catch one of the others underneath. Personally, uh, I'm a big fan of the Oaks Derby double, where I will probably only use those two in the Oaks Derby double and hope I'm right. If I lose out on to either Nest or Secret Oath or Echo Zulu and the Oaks Derby double, so be it. But Kathleen O has done nothing wrong. She actually is tied for the best thorograph number with Taiba for 3-year-olds going into one of these two races. She ran a 0 last time, which is very impressive, especially for the fillies, where the fillies numbers are generally a little bit higher. For reference, Echo Zulu ran a 6 in the fairground Oaks. So Kathleen O's 0 in the Gulfstream Park Oaks looks very appealing. I don't see how you don't use her. I'm sure she's on the top of a lot of Oaks boards, just like mine. She might be your post time favorite. I don't know. I kind of hope not. I hope kind of hoping Echo Zulu and Secret Oath because of their fan bases do take a lot more money. But it would not surprise. She's definitely going to be one of the top 3, and it would not surprise me if she is vying for favoritism. So that's my Oaks rundown. I'm probably not going to do a post draw Oaks video just because it's 14 horses. The draw, in my opinion, here does not mean as much unless for some reason like Echo Zulu draws way outside and it changes the pace scenario a little bit. But if she doesn't, as long as she doesn't draw like the 13 or 14, I don't see any reason why she's not on the lead. So for that reason, probably won't do one. We might decide to do one though. It would be up to El Hombre and the formula if I do another one. But anyway, I'll be back next week for the Derby draw video, and we'll see. But we're a little over a week away from these races, and I hope everybody's getting as excited as I am. Good luck, everyone.